Have you ever looked back at a relationship and wondered, how did I not see this? How did the red flags, the ones that feel so obvious in hindsight, blend so effortlessly into the background? Why did you stay, even when something deep inside whispered that you deserved better? The truth is, red flags rarely look like danger at first glance. Sometimes they look like passion, sometimes like potential, and sometimes they look like the hope of finally being loved. When we fall for someone, the world subtly shifts. Colors feel softer, emotions feel brighter, and everything inside us leans toward the possibility of connection. The rush of attraction is intoxicating, not just emotionally, but chemically. Your brain floods with dopamine, blurring lines and softening edges. You don't want to see flaws. You want to believe that this time, it's real. And because you want it to work, you start filtering out anything that doesn't fit the fantasy in your mind. We all have a deep desire to be loved, to belong, to finally feel chosen. That longing creates a gentle but powerful over-optimism, where even questionable behavior gets brushed away with, maybe it's nothing, or everyone has flaws. But then comes the sunk cost fallacy. The more time, energy, and emotion you invest in someone, the harder it becomes to admit something feels wrong. Walking away feels like losing everything you already poured in, so you stay. You hope. You give another chance, and then another. Because the heart fears starting over more than it fears being broken. But there's also the world around you. The quiet echo chamber of external validation. We live in a society where being in a relationship still feels like a badge of honor. Friends congratulate you. Family members ease up on their concern. Social media celebrates couples like trophies. So when something starts feeling off, pressure creeps in. You don't want to disappoint others. You don't want to be the one whose relationship didn't work out. And then there's the cultural obsession with fixing someone, as if changing a partner is a romantic achievement. We're taught that staying during the storms is noble, even when the storms are warning signs. So when someone expresses concern, are you sure they treat you well? It's tempting to dismiss it as negativity, jealousy, or someone not understanding your unique connection. Because admitting someone else sees the problem means confronting that you see it too. And that's how it begins. The slow, subtle psychology of normalization. Red flags rarely appear as dramatic, obvious signals. They slip in quietly. A snide comment, a broken promise, a moment of disrespect, small enough to excuse, small enough to justify. They were stressed. It wasn't intentional. Everyone slips up sometimes. Gradually, your boundaries stretch. What once would have been unacceptable becomes something you tolerate. Humans adapt to discomfort more easily than they admit. By the time the behavior escalates, it no longer feels shocking. It feels familiar. And then there is the fear, an emotion more powerful than we like to acknowledge. The fear of loneliness. The fear of starting over. The fear that maybe this is as good as it gets. Fear convinces you to stay silent, to stay put, to stay in something that hurts, simply because the alternative feels scarier. When the reality becomes too painful to sit with, we often escape into internal storytelling. We create narratives to soothe the ache. Nobody's perfect. They're trying their best. We have so many good memories. The good moments outweigh the bad. These stories protect your heart from the sharpness of disappointment, but they also keep you tied to a version of the relationship that exists more in your mind than in reality. And the most seductive story of all is believing in someone's potential. You tell yourself, they'll change. and you unconsciously invest in who they could be instead of who they are right now. So you replay the highlights, the good moments, the passion, the sweetness, convincing yourself that these flashes mean something bigger than the patterns whispering the truth. But even then, something inside you knows when it's time to see clearly. And clarity begins with self-awareness, understanding why you are drawn to certain people, why you tolerate certain behaviors, and how your attachment style shapes your relationships. Are you anxious and afraid of being abandoned? Are you avoidant and pulled toward intensity? Are you trying to heal old wounds through new connections? Awareness doesn't instantly fix everything, but it gives you a map. And once you have that map, you begin recognizing the signals you used to ignore. The next step is boundaries, not as walls, but as self-respect. Setting boundaries early before things fall apart protects you from slipping into another cycle. Boundaries help you turn red flags from something you excuse into something you walk away from. They teach you that love shouldn't require constant justification or emotional self-sacrifice. And then, there's courage. Not the dramatic kind, but the quiet kind. The kind that whispers, "I deserve better than this," even when your heart aches. The courage to choose yourself, to choose peace, to choose a relationship that doesn't hurt more than it heals. Breaking the cycle is never easy, but seeing clearly is the first step toward loving clearly. And choosing yourself is never a failure. It's the beginning of the love you truly deserve.